Afternoon all, how we doing? Afternoon Profster, David. Afternoon. Fairly profitable morning. Woohoo! Big money on the euro this morning. And Mr. Putin just made my day. This is what I was talking about this morning. As much as these things will stop you out, these things will also help you. So when you're short and there's news and it goes your favour, take it. Yeah, this is what it's all about. You got to just get in the market, wait for the market to go in your direction and get the money when it takes it. So big drop there, banked 3.8% on that move. So you're down about 700. There you go. See, I was short, you were long, or whatever. Some people are going to lose, some people are going to win. Next time, when I'm down 3%, you'll be up 6. Swings and roundabouts. It's just about getting in and taking it when it's there. It's the hard bit. I've just taken a long on US dollar CAD on my funded account as well. From 125.103 here somewhere there. So we had this big drop down into a retest, and I entered there long. Obviously this has all been pushed off with Putin as well, so it's all just coming together basically, luckily. So, day one, funded account, $800 in the bank. How about that then? Not a bad start to the new account. I've still got trade running, obviously, but current balance is 784, but it's close enough. That's guaranteed. That's in the bank. So, need to get this up to 2,500. And then when I get to 2,500, my stop out balance freezes at 5k and off. So that's the challenge when you pass, is getting this thing up to a level where you can actually give yourself breathing room. That's the hard part. Takes a while. I was short, but my stop was tight. Oh, yeah. Afternoon, Bruno. Afternoon, Peter. What did he do or say? So he's just basically, Putin's just been waffling on. We've got thingy talking at the moment. Forgotten his name. What's his name? Williams speaking at the minute. And he was geeing the market up a little bit. And then Putin came out basically and said, he's changed all the rules on gas. He's basically going to, if his demands are not met, he's just going to stop supplying everybody. Everybody's got to pay him as he wants. So basically, if you don't pay in rubles, sod you. You don't pay me, I shut you off. Also, he's just basically been ranting, basically, saying the US is trying to stir things up, and go and read it on Financial Juice. But basically, he's just tanked the market, which is going to make open very hard. Got to go short bias, obviously. Whether we're going to pull back and short, I've no idea. I'm keeping these on. I've got 2 positions at break even from this morning. Basically, as we started pulling back this morning, I started scaling in to positions. So I got into a little bit of profit on a couple, pulled back, got into another position, basically playing the 2050 range bounce. It pushed down, pushed up again. I took a final position up in this gap fill here. So this accumulation gap, I took a last position there. Just as I took that last position, we came down. So I was not far off actually stopping out on the lot if we were breaking above this accumulation, but thank you, Putin. I'll take that. Also got some bad trades on gold in school, so I shouldn't be trading this morning while I'm in school. No, you said you weren't going to be there. this morning. Oh, you weren't there this morning, actually, were you? So the OPEC meeting is still going as well. So we have got continuous feed coming out of OPEC every now and again. Weller is speaking at OPEC at the moment. We are getting the odd OPEC thing come out as well. Putin orders to open special accounts for gas payments in Gazprom Bank. So basically, you also now have to be, if you want to buy gas, you've got to be using Gazprom Bank for all the transactions. Basically, he's just taking complete control of everything. So, well, domination. We need to send James Bond over and take him out, don't we? Anywho. Right, so this morning, euros. So obviously I had that euro US dollar short on. I've just taken profit on that one. We were at 125 ADR and it just started to move down. So as we tanked here, I've just taken that one off the table at 125. We are very extended, so I'm putting it in the bank. If we pull back, I can always short it again. We've got non-farm payroll tomorrow, so I think it's probably best to have that in the bank. Sorry, let me just turn Financial Juice off a minute. He's just waffling on in the background. Euro CAD, the short that we took this morning. I'm leaving that one running. So the news on the Canadian dollar was kind of as expected. So I've seen that as positive on the CAD GDP. So expecting Canadian dollar strength maybe over the next couple of days, and obviously Euro CAD to come down. So I'm just covering that one at the minute. And obviously this was unemployment claims were negative. Core PCE was as expected. So this didn't do a lot. We didn't get a lot of movement off of that news. This is Putin that's just basically done it for us today. God, it's volatile. You just sit there and all of a sudden your P&L is either flat because you've just been stopped out of everything, or it's going mental in your direction. It's just totally crazy at the minute, everything. It's like being back in the Trump era. Every time he tweeted something, the market would just go completely crazy, stop you out your positions, and then go back to where it was. It's exactly the same sort of thing with Putin at the moment, or anything that comes out of Ukraine. So just got to deal with it. That's because he's been ripped off for years by Biden. Quite possibly. I don't know. I've never paid much attention to anything to do with oil and gas. I've never really traded oil. So I've never really got into it or analysed the relationships in any great detail. The only thing I pay attention to is the Canadian dollar for oil inventories and OPEC meetings. So, it's not something I've been interested in. Markets are coming down really hard. NASDAQ, S&P. We need to give this time to bed in, I think, at the open. So Dow's coming down hard. S&P is coming down hard. NASDAQ's trying. We've got this accumulation here, which we had the propulsion move out of into Asia at the end of New York yesterday. We could see some buying start here, but obviously Putin's just thrown a spanner in the works. So, and obviously the DAX is on its way down, but everything is coming down to levels where we are quite extended on the day. We're almost at ADR now. So potentially we could get a pop today. Dailies are now looking, so the DAX daily is done what I was expecting it to do this morning. Obviously it just went without me this morning, unfortunately, because if you weren't here this morning, Profster, you laughed at this one. So I shorted the DAX this morning, expecting the gap fill. Shorted it at the open. We pushed up high, came back down, 50% retracement. I shorted. We pulled down, got an opening range breakout. I shorted. It pushed up. There's my stop. It took my stop to the pip and collapsed. So we got the gap fill that I was expecting to get. It's just it didn't bloody take me with it. And now obviously we are bearish engulfing on the day as well, we're bearish, broken the lows basically on the day. So I'm still hoping for this gap fill on the DAX, potential move south. The Dow and the DAX have oil companies in them. So obviously oil stocks, when there's disruption to oil supplies, oil stocks are going to get hit. But the market as a whole is obviously not reacting very friendly to this at the moment. NASDAQ and all the US stocks, we've obviously had an inside bar put in yesterday, whereas the DAX put in a bearish engulfing. We've had our push up today, so this looks to me to be a bearish day at the moment. But most of this move that we're seeing go from green to red today is off the back of what Putin's just said, literally in the last 15 minutes. So very hard to gauge, really, what is going on today. But obviously at the moment, it's looking like it wants to go short. So I'm going to monitor the probably the best to monitor the Dow today, because that's going to be probably the most affected by that news. So we'll see how that goes at the open. It's obviously bearish. So to be honest, the minute it's kind of hit the short button with a wide stop, isn't it? But we'll see what happens at the open, see how much volatility we have coming in. We've got quite a few ADRs hit today, mainly the euros, which we'll have a quick look at in a minute. But I'm just at the moment I just want to leave these riding. If we can get continuation drop down to ADR today, obviously it's just going to ride it, but we'll see. So from a scalping perspective, I'm up 1.6 on the day now. I was down this morning, 2.2. And obviously I've banked that euro trade, which was 5%. So 6.6 on the day at the moment. And obviously I've got open running 10%. And my MT4's just frozen. Can't handle the money. Nasdaq's coming down the hardest of the lot at the minute. You can't see it because the platform will wake up in a second. Just lost connection. There we go. Nasdaq absolutely falling out of bed at the moment. Oil is obviously going through the roof. So yeah, it's short. How are you going to get into this today, though? I don't know. If you're not in it, it's going to be difficult to get in today. I would suggest probably an opening range low breakout. There's our opening range at the moment. There you go. So the opening range is in. It's already gone. Well, I don't want that TP there. Move the TP. That's close. Let's just have a look at where we're probably going today. If we're going to fall out of bed today, I suspect we're going to find support here, which is just beyond ADR, which is this accumulation breakout that we got bought up last time. So somewhere around here, I would expect us to find some kind of support if we're going to continue down today. So it's kind of a play short down to there, I think, and then obviously. Oh, nice one. Profster's got in on M1. He's at break even on his short already. Very good. So yeah, playing it down to here, and then likely we're going to get a bounce off of this, but we'll see. Depends how much the market's reading into what Putin's just said, but it's certainly not happy at the minute. God, I couldn't have timed that any worse, could he? 20 minutes before market open. How to confuse the hell out of everybody. FTSE's coming down as well. Again, we've got oil companies in the FTSE. So oil, again, long. We've been pulling back on oil a lot. We're looking for the next opportunity to get the next leg long. So this could be the start here. Obviously, at any moment, Putin could actually say, all right, don't worry about it. And, you know, it'll all undo again. So at the moment, oil is a long. Got beautiful. See this. Remember I said this morning, blimey, what's happened to oil? Someone somewhere knew something about this today. This just fell out of bed this morning for no reason. It's just odd. But I would suspect we're probably going to come back up to ADR today on oil. Nasdaq's double bottomed. Or double bottoming. Riding the DAX. Wow, don't know what happened there. Okay, closing half of that out. 1.7. We double bottomed on Nasdaq. And the Dow we're approaching. Obviously this has been a big drop, so we may well get a pullback off of this now. So I'm just going to move that last position back to break even and let that 1.4 ride. See if we can turn it into a 3 if we're going to get the further drop down today. Right, see what happens with this over the next 10-15 minutes. We've got fairly tight opening range on everything at the moment, so it's not bad opening ranges. Obviously pushed down bearish at the open, but they're not huge. That's a big old pullback candle. You know, you could go with a stop under these inventory retracement bars and just literally wait for the bottom to fall out of this again. If it's going to happen, I mean, that's a long way actually to wait, but the DAX is a little bit better. Nasdaq actually took those lows. S&P dipping back into these lows. This area here, do you remember we identified this morning? Again. So we've just basically tapped into that support we were looking at this morning. So this could be where we're starting to pull back on everything, but I don't know. Impossible to tell with what he's just said. So let's have a look at the everything else that's happened this morning. So Euro odd, we got wrong button. I'm just going to make that noise again. Sorry, changing the wrong chart. Resets all the alerts when you change time frame. So Euro odd, we had that big collapse today, which was lovely. So we took the short this morning on that reversal alert. The reason we took that was because we were extended on the 4 hourly and we were coming up into the 50% retracement at potential resistance, and it came off absolutely beautifully this morning. And the same with the Euro CAD. That was the same trade basically, off of this resistance off the 24, coming down very nicely, extended on the RSI. So Euro odd obviously is the ADR hit at the lows, but obviously looking for, all these are obviously ADR hits to the lows. We're looking for short positions on the Euros. So you could take it as a pullback. We've got areas to pull back into today, but obviously this is a very strong drop. You're basically standing in front of a steam train on this. So be very wary if you are and you want to get yourself into break even as soon as you can if you're going to trade this, not a position trading long. Euro Swiss, same thing. We've pulled to the downside and we're looking for shorts. So this is what we want, not what we want to take. We want to wait for price to move up on the euro and short it. Euro pound, same thing. We're just coming down towards 125 as well. Euro yen, all the yen pairs, lovely drops today, and Euro New Zealand and Euro US dollar. So all done very, very well. Euros, New Zealand dollar yen, that's come down 3-bar reversal off of ADR to the pip. Not that that happens very often, but yeah, it's nice to see. So yeah, nice reversal alert and a retest there. But again, yens are really, really strong at the moment. So we're not really looking to long the yen. We're on a 4-day drop on the yen now. On everything against the yen. So we've got a nice strong yen. It's not that convincing, the yen. We have got strength, but you know, it's not, like I said, it's not the elevator shaft that we were hoping for. It's grinding down, which is more indicative of a pullback than a complete reversal or correction, but it is all going the right way. So they're all doing very well. Peter, that was the news in the US, would be releasing 1 million barrels of oil per day into the markets. Oh, was that what that was, the oil drop? Right, oh, okay. That oil drop this morning. That was a funny time to release that news. I suppose in the US that was the evening, wasn't it? Start of the Asian session is kind of late night, the US, isn't it? So, okay, that makes sense as to why that happened. I knew the news actually was there. I heard the news this morning, but I didn't put the two together. So there's your ADRs today. Hourlies, we've got nothing at all still on the hourlies. The euros that we had that were getting close to ADR highs, this is why we looked at these this morning, because these were the ones that were getting close. Obviously, because they've dropped the euros, these have all come back and stabilised. So there's nothing extended on the RSIs on the hourlies. Everything that we were extended on over the last week is all playing out and dropping. So, or pushing, whichever. So that's all turned off now, so there's no opportunities for entries there either. We're coming straight into non-farm payroll tomorrow, obviously, so the market's all nice and stabilised, not extended in any direction, and all set up to go wherever the hell it wants to tomorrow. So the only thing we've got extended at the moment is the New Zealand dollar Swiss. Markets are still coming down across the board. The Dow is the only one that's looking like we're getting absorption. The DAX is still tanking. New Zealand dollar Swiss is the only one we've got extended on the 4 hour to the downside. So this is obviously pulling back at the minute after switching to this uptrend. So yeah, possible double bottom here for a long. Very nice extended towards the downside. So we should see some kind of movement starting back upwards now. But it's not a bad looking double bottom actually, is it? Really? There's your zone. That's your support resistance zone there. There's an accumulation propulsion gap there as well. So that's not a bad looking long opportunity there. We've just had a reverse alert on M15 out of there. So you're looking at an entry with potentially about a 20 pip stop. If it's going to double top, you got 100 pip reward there. So it's a nice 5-to-1 long over a few days. Obviously we've got non-farm tomorrow, so it's, if you're going to get into things, you want them to have moved into profit and you want them at break even by the time we get around to the news tomorrow. So, but yeah, nice looking potential long there on New Zealand dollar Swiss. So that's about it really on those. 2%, I want to take that. 5.3. I'm going to close that out. 1.8. So 5.1 on the day on scalping. It's very good. So I don't know if you're in here, Miltic, who was talking to me in Telegram. I don't know who you are, Miltic ICM. But yeah, I wasn't having a go at you if you are in here. I was just saying how well you're doing with position trading if you're producing 9% a month. But, you know, you can produce 1 or 2% a day as a scalper. You're making 20% a month. And it's not unusual to be able to do that on a daily basis. You're going to have down days, 2%, 3%. I had a 1.5% down day yesterday or whatever it was. And then you take the big days when you get the big days. All evens out over the month. If you're in here and you don't know, you're not in the Telegram group, you won't know what I'm talking about. So go and have a look in the Telegram group. Right. So we're getting some support forming on the Dow. The S&P is doing something very similar. So we're getting a little bit of bullish price action coming through. The DAX still seems very, very, very heavy though. The FTSE is pushing up as well. So potentially looks like a good little long opportunity. Kind of already gone or going. So I think this could well be the start of the pullback on this. So looking for pullback into most recent lows or back into the opening range somewhere, which means your 2050s will be coming down on top of you there to get in short somewhere around here. But I would probably try and keep a fairly decent size stop on anything that you put in today. To give this a bit of room to breathe because we've got a lot of volatility at the moment, so we could see some big spiky candles up and down. Dow's not really giving any opportunity to go long. These 3 candles where we saw this absorption, that's where your signals were to start going long. Buying it down here, but it's gone now. We've got obviously IRBs here, so stops under these lows basically to go short when this thing comes down again, assuming it's going to come down again. Has anybody got any FX pairs they want to have a look at? Blimey. Proster, just in your post. You've just recovered all your losses for the day. There you go. That's the way the cookie crumbles. It's a numbers game. You get in, you get stopped out. You get in, you get stopped out. You get in, you get stopped out. You get in, you quadruple whatever your stops were. And you make money. Just to get stopped out on my US dollar CAD position. Long at 125, 103. So I'm long from there. It's a break-even stop. Profster, I quit Forex after I saw the DAX profits. This is how I used to trade. This is how I became a break-even trader, and this is labor intensive. I've been trading all morning, and it's just this is the hard way to trade. M5 is hard. It's rewarding, but there's a lot easier ways to do it. But at the moment, anything above M15 time frame is just very, 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 very difficult to get any gauge on a directional bias. And if you haven't got a directional bias, you're kind of stuffed. We're seeing a lot of whipsawing as well, aren't we? So it's just very difficult, which is why I'm settling down here at the minute until this Ukrainian issue's sorted. Yeah, we could be here for the next year, for all I know. I have no idea. I've been short the CAD yen for 2 days. Nice. Hold it. Well, again, with all these yens, like I keep saying, we've got these accumulations to get through. This one's a bit of a tricky one to spot the accumulations on. You've got one there, and I kind of class this as one big accumulation. I mean, that's really the accumulation there. But this was all part of an Asian move and a London move. So this is kind of one big move, and then it went nowhere during New York. So I would kind of class that as accumulation, and that's where we've sat. So you really want to break this, but as soon as you break this, you're going into the next accumulation. This is the problem with all of these squeezes at the moment. Every time you break one, you're running into another one. And every single one of these accumulations is full of buyers. And at any point, we don't know how much speculative long trading is in here, but we don't know which of these is going to, if any, is going to get defended and push price back up again. So it is very, very, very difficult to know when to take profit. Normally, in a normal market, if we haven't really got a normal market at the moment, but normally, where you have price moving up and down and up and down, we have support resistance, which is really easy to spot. Yeah, we pushed up there, we pulled back, we pushed up, we pulled up, we came up to there, and as soon as we broke that high, we bounced off support for a bit and then pushed. Yeah, with all these squeezes that go like that, there is no up and down in here. There's nowhere to spot support and resistance, which makes it very hard on the way down to know where to put your TP, because there's nothing. There's nothing to rest on. We've got levels. You pick any of these peaks. And you will spot what is going on in the market. After that one, we bounced off of that multiple times there. Then we pushed up. We haven't respected that at all at the moment. That level there, we pushed up to it here. We tried to crack through it multiple times. We had a really good go at it there. Weren't interested. This level here, we popped back down into it, bounced off of it. Tried multiple times to crack through it, got rejected, and finally slammed through it. Came back up again and bounced back into the other level twice, and then came off of it. Support resistance is just how the market moves. It's the levels the interbank system is using to trade to and from. When you got something like that, there is none. So where do you go? Where are you going to stop? Here? In theory, it's a really long A-shape recovery all the way down to there, isn't it? It's so difficult to pick anything. And Putin will just suddenly go, we've decided actually we're going to back China invading Japan. What's going to happen to the yen? It's completely news driven, the whole market, which I completely understand why Profit is saying sod Forex, trade indices, because indices will always have a structure. Indices, even if it's big, strong moves, you've always got a structure to work with. So when we start coming down, we know where we're going. We're going roughly to some of these levels. They're always, we've been here again, 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 broke through it, came back down, came back, touched it again, disappeared off. You know where you're going. There's a roadmap left for you. But Forex is just not like it. Aussie 200. I've never looked at the Aussie 200. Haven't got it. Don't trade that. Haven't got it. I'm not awake when the Aussie opens, so it's not something I trade because I'm asleep. Got to sleep sometimes. Focusing on how to handle my psychology while taking a loss. Today is a lesson in taking losses. You were $700 down when you started. You've taken 2 trades. You've got back your loss, and now you've got a trade running long at break even on the DAX. Potentially. No, it looks like you've just been stopped out on it. But just got to wait for the moves. It's the hard bit, waiting. We've gone into hideous wiki mode again. Market's not looking healthy at the minute. Doesn't know where it wants to go. Nasdaq's pulled down very nicely. We are looking, there's lots of absorption down here, and we're pushing long. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to get this push up and pull back into there. We're respecting yesterday's low basically at the minute, and we're finding buyers down here. Dow is not able to do it though. So this is a negative risk reward trade basically. Got big wide 600 point stop, 300 point reward. So it's only going to be 0.25%, but it all adds up if it gets there. And I would probably look for shorts if we get back up there. Stopped out my US dollar CAD. 684 for the day, that'll do. I would imagine, still going. I'm just going to let that trail. If we continue pushing down, I'm just going to trail that with price. Don't really want to lock it in at break even. I might as well take something off of it. But had a good day, so I may as well try and get the runner, really. Llewellyn, NAS has made a lower high, while Dial and S&P have made a higher low. Yeah. I mean, the market is bearish. It's a real risk taking along. That's turning over now, the S&P. New shorts coming in. So you've got these IRB shorts you can take. Going short one on the DAX. So going to cancel that long off. So everything else is falling out at the minute. I just don't like the wickiness of this at the minute. It's just very wicky. We are starting a new leg down though by the looks of things. Oh my god, I've got 2% on that. What? I'm just hovering on close on this. If this goes, I'll take it, but that's way too much risk. Just going to reduce that down as well. That's 1%. I was looking at that thinking, whoa, why has that gotten so big? Closing that. It's getting with a proper position size. That was way too big. Still very wicky. Nice push down though on the S&P and the NAS and the Dow as well. So all the US indices still looking very, very weak. It's just not pulled back enough, really. Don't like taking shorts when we're this far away from the moving averages. It's got to be a very, very strong trend to sustain a move like that. But I mean, it is kind of happening. So, but on the DAX, obviously we've flagged. So we've got. If you want a lesson in flag patterns, this is it. Flagpole, flag. Flagpole, flag. Flagpole. Normally only get 3. If you get 3. And again, support resistance. I know you love M1 Profster, but M1 is is very hard to trade because you will get way more signals a day on this than you will on M5, and the more signals you get on a day where you get chopped, the more stressed and angry you're going to get with the market, and the more you'll overtrade it. Whereas if you drop down to M5 or up to M5, you're going to get way less signals, way less chop, and way less opportunities to get into bad trades. So you could easily have 5 losing trades on the trot on M5. I've only seen 1 candle in the same amount of time as your... Well, no, it's not true, is it? But you could have 5 losing trades on M1 over a period of sort of 15 minutes, for example, in 15 different candles. I've only seen 3 candles and I haven't even got 1 signal yet on M5. So although it is a really good time frame to make really good money really fast with really tight stops, it is also completely full of chop. And every signal and pattern that you see has a much less likelihood of coming to fruition. So just be careful. See, we're still in our first flag on M5. We've had 2 flags on M1, and yes, they both worked. But what if they both failed? I haven't taken a trade yet. See, it's just be careful with it. That's all. As long as you're trading, if you're looking at M5 as well, that's good. So I'm just having a conversation with somebody in here that's posting things in Telegram, and I can understand, obviously, no one else can see what the hell we're talking about. So basically, having two charts up next to each other, trading off the 1 minute chart and looking at the 5 minute chart. So your pattern recognition is on M5. Your entries are on price action on M1. So again, multi-time frame analysis, very good to do. I don't want to be on them one. Come on, Putin. Say something else. Mortgage rates in the US have risen to 4.67%, the highest ever. The highest level since 2018. Got a new housing bubble forming.
S&P Global Ratings say that it has withdrawn its local currency ratings on Russian insurers. And the US Treasury here announcing additional Russia sanctions.
More sanctions on Russia just being announced by the US. I get the feeling they're trying to jivvy up the markets a little bit, but it's not having much effect at the moment. I'm just going to clear up this chart a little bit.
The US just names more individuals and entities in the new Russia sanctions.
Bit of a pullback forming on the NAS. And the S&P. Oil's coming down a little bit as well. Bit of a rest
The US adds 30
on the oil push.
several entities to the sanctions list related to Russia. This is all coming from the Treasury website.
New low on the DAX, approaching ADR. So I need to be a bit careful down here. We are very extended now. Kevin recently bought the market reversal indicator and also joined the Telegram. However, I accidentally left the Telegram group and cannot find the link. I can do that. It's in the chat. The Dow is coming down way harder than the S&P and the Nasdaq at the moment. Obviously, it's the oil stocks getting hit the most at the moment. So whole market's getting dragged down, but the Dow is leading the way today. We've just broken this key support, running into this Globex accumulation. So next level, I would say, on the Dow is there, which is basically it's 35, isn't it, really? Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not 35. But that's a round number, so let's mark 35 as well. So the next key levels on the Dow. I should have imagined Profster is now sitting in another $700 of profit. Haven't seen anything posted in the Telegram group for a while, but he was short on it.
The US takes Bank of Russia Ozon, online retailer, off the OFAC sanction list, according to Interfax.
Can you hear the newsreader in the back? I'm not sure how much you can hear and how annoying it is, but I'm just having them on at the minute just to just helps you to hear what's going on. When things start to move quickly, you're pretty much straight on it with the news guys. So just turn tick strike down. I had that turned off. Just turning it back on again. We're putting back off these lows. We're getting some rejection on the Dow. Nasdaq's pushing up as well. Just going to close that 0.3. Can always get back in, but we've seen some bull activity coming through on all the indices. Apart from the FTSE's just not stopping. Haven't got the FTSE on here, but it's coming down quite hard. Oil is just pulling back into the moving averages. These support rectangles that are drawn by the market reversal alert indicator, you'll find a lot of the time these will also coincide with the 20. So, you know, as price pulls back into these rectangles and gets supported and pushes off again, you'll find that the 20's not far away most of the time as well. So looking at the bigger picture on the indices now, we've taken these lows out. So as a daily candle goes, we've put in a pretty decent range for a pullback. May have a little bit further today to get down, not too far I wouldn't think. S&P is still fairly small candle. We still haven't broken this low, which is around about a 38 retracement on the last push. So if we are staying in a bull market, somewhere around here is where I'll be looking for a push. Nasdaq. Yeah, well, this is where their support is, isn't it? So again, fairly decent sized candle. We've obviously had big moves up and big moves down today. DAX obviously looking heavy. So DAX, we've just broken back down. So this level, let me just move that level up. So this, actually let me move it back down again. I'll draw some more lines in. So this is the control candle we were looking at initially as being in control of the market. And we had over a week, nearly 2 weeks, where we got no breaks outside of this daily candle, which was the gap up. So we had the gap up, push, and then we spent over a week in there, not being able to break out. Then we've pushed up one candle, immediately gone bearish engulfing, and now we're breaking back down inside this zone. So we are back basically in this balance where the market was happy to transact DAX stocks. So we could be getting stuck in here for a little bit longer on our way to come down and do this correction, which makes it very difficult to know. Fear and greed index is now neutral, in case you're interested. Obviously, DAX now we've certainly got a more bearish outlook on it, but the others we've got a bullish outlook at the moment. We're still inside bar on all of these, so we haven't pushed out side of these last daily push candles. So very difficult. We've got divergence in the markets between Europe and US. All the US indices are bullish. All the Euro indices are a little bit more bearish. Just one candle pullback and looks like I'm coming down again. Am I looking for a possible reversal now for the DAX? Potentially, but it's got a little bit more room. There's a couple of levels on the DAX. We've got these highs here, potentially, which we could reject out of, which is right here, and we're at ADR. So, you know, we've put in our normal daily range now already, but that was mainly due to Putin, his announcement. So, yeah, but we've got a potential area here. So this whole zone, basically, which we've just tapped into, anywhere in here, really, is potentially where we're going to start to pull back or possibly even reverse from. But the market's not giving any bullish signs at the moment. So we could just go into, you know, a really strong, big down day today. The trouble with trying to catch a pullback is obviously you're against the trend and you're trying to catch a falling knife at the moment as far as this is concerned. So you're better off waiting for price to pull up into a resistance with the moving averages and short it again. But yeah, I mean, it's where we should be looking for longs, but we've run out of liquidity down here. Nothing much is happening. See, we've got the Dow again. Look, Nasdaq pushing up really nicely. Dow still making new lows. Let's just have a look for buy. Let's see if we can see if anything's got divergence on. So we've got bullish divergence on the S&P. Not really there on Nasdaq. Not there really on the Dow or the DAX. So the S&P is the only thing that's showing any signs of bullish divergence at the moment, and it's marginal at best. It's more like level. You'd want to see divergence, really. You'd want to see divergence like that, bullish divergence. So there is no divergence. So the market is still very, very bearish. I.e., you want to be taking inventory retracement bars, pullbacks into propulsion candles.
Taking a look at the fear and greed index now, it's 50 out of 100, indicating neutral. Great French official, existing gas contracts are being respected.
So I've got a new sell stop underneath this candle low. Obviously this is a support area, but obviously if we break this and break that, put a new low in, I think we're going to go for another leg down. So still looking short on it. 125 ADR is not unachievable today. Short one.
From Wall Street Journal to Mormon says that senior EU officials said there won't be a joint statement after the EU-China summit, and also there won't be a summit with deliverables, not business as usual summit. And it's a summit where the EU wants to see China defend and strengthen the rules-based.
Shush. Double top on NASDAQ at the 20, and bearish engulfing going in at the propulsion gap, where the sellers are going to step in and push down for the second leg. All looking good for short still. Broken the lows on the DAX. I don't know why I'm still trading the DAX. Should really be trading the US markets because it's going to get more volume and volatility on the US, but the DAX just looks nice. So might as well stick with it. Got to show you that one. Milking it. We like days like this. Still got 45 seconds left on these candles. Obviously, we haven't painted a bearish engulfing yet. We haven't got a double top yet until this candle's closed. Got 3-bar reversal painted on S&P 500. Push, shooting star or doji, and bear. A lot of absorption down at support though again on the DAX, so mixed messages from those at the minute. That's why we should be trading the US indices, because there's more volume on here. Equal highs gone in on the DAX and a bearish engulfing. Sorry, the NASDAQ. So we need a new break of the lows here, just to confirm that this is not going to be a market reversal shift, market structure shift. Loads of bears coming in though, so sounds good. Woody Woodpecker. S&P just made new lows, just. Tapped straight into yesterday's low. Came straight off to the pip. You'll be careful here. I want to see some more bearish price action coming in. The FTSE's just put in a double bottom on the last 5-minute candle. The Dow has just swept the lows as well and is rejected. And so is the NAS. I'm closing that 0.1. Don't like that one. We're rejecting. We're getting way more buyers stepping in here. That was a really strong push down. You heard that with the crickets. Really strong push down, but the push down was straight into there and completely absorbed by buyers stepping in. So everyone's buying the bottom buying the double bottom. So we probably see a pullback potentially starting here. Nice reversal. A little bit more movement down on the DAX. What's going on in FX world? Pound US dollar completely sideways. US dollar CAD sideways. US dollar yen side. Everything's sideways. Euro US dollar is still trending really, really nicely. Obviously, that's the one I got out of. 20 moving average comes sort of like that. Would be the one I get out of, wouldn't it? Euro CAD short, still going well. Just trailing the stop on that one. I'll keep that one trailing. Lovely M5 entry this morning. I took it on M15 though. I actually took it a candle late. So Dow rejecting the lows, all rejecting the lows at the minute. So we're running out of steam down here. So potentially, if you want to take a counter trend long, this is a good spot. Jesus, how many trades are you taking? Be careful taking that many trades that close together. Because if that goes against you, oh mind you, they're not all the same trades, are they? No, okay. You get loads of P&Ls. People post loads of P&Ls where you've got like, I'll do it with a trend line. They have a trade, like, and they have like another one there, 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 another one there. And price has gone up to here and they show a P&L going, woohoo, what an amazing trader I am. Yeah. What happens if a news event comes in like we just had with Putin and this thing goes down to there? You just blown your account. Proper blown your account. Yeah. So just don't, loads of people do that thing where they're like, you know, you just hit the buy button and you build up a massive position, then it moves your way a couple of candles. But, you know, any moment that can happen, any moment. So scaling into positions is no problem. I did it this morning. Yeah, I took 4 positions very close to each other in an accumulation, but I had a stop ready to get out. But no more than 3 or 4 positions if you're going to do that, because that will kill you in the wrong direction. You only use 1 position, that's fine. Set your TP and stop loss, that's good. Yeah, that's your P&L then, not, that's because that to me looks like an open P&L rather than a closed P&L. I can't see what that is, that's why I said it. If that's a closed P&L, brilliant. Big old contract sizes in there as well. Anyway, let me get rid of these. Lots of crickets coming in for longs at the minute. I'm not going to long this. Just personally, I don't want to go counter trend on this today. But market structure looks like it potentially is shifting long. But I'd be more interested in that. I love it when the IMF speaks. It's just news coming in from the IMF at the moment. Every time I see things like that, I'm like, for me, that is the impossible mission force. Mission Impossible is the IMF, isn't it? I keep seeing that and just Tom Cruise popping into my head saying, "Don't start a trade war." That was a really bad Tom Cruise impression. I don't do Americans. Got more rejection on the DAX. DAX is really, really struggling though to get anywhere, whereas obviously we're getting nice bullish price action on the US indices at the minute. So there's potential for sell stops under the lows, because when these do actually finally get to their pullback and drop, that'll drop fairly quick along with it. But a bit of a difficult trade at the minute. It's just chop at the minute. We haven't got any real directional bias. I'll be watching for, see, we're still getting bearish price action coming out over here. Watching for anywhere up here for sellers to start to step in. Ferdinand, can you share where you get the gap indicator? The link you posted on day 3 bootcamp says not available. No, that one's not available anymore. In the Telegram group, if you go into the Telegram group and go into the files section and type WRB, you'll find it. It's called the WRB hidden gap. Basically does pretty much the same thing as the gap indicator. There we go, the ball's stepping in now. So this is a double bottom bounce on multiple indices. Not so much on the Dow. Oh no, it's not very pretty on the Dow, but on the other indices it's much cleaner. So potentially we could do anything from here. Obviously we could just decide we want to go long today and go red to green, but at worst case scenario we're looking for pullback for more short opportunities if we're going to continue bearish today. Slamming through that. Going to get stuck in this accumulation, so looking for that level there. So looking for bearish price action to start forming on the Nasdaq. Might take a go on the Nasdaq now. I like this short still, but it's so far, it's got such a long way to potentially pull back, whereas obviously we're doing the pullback on the US indices now. So oil is bouncing off of the 50. So if you view that as an accumulation, that's the start of the move. Okay, going with sell stop under the lows on the Nasdaq. Stop just out of reach of those levels and the 50. Dean, is the opening range high and low on your chart part of the EA, the toolkit EA? Yeah. So the price action toolkit does the buttons to get in, and obviously the risk management, and it puts in the opening range high and low, and also the second opening range high and low, opening range high and low 2, which is, you can configure it, but mine's at 90 minutes. And obviously it draws in the price action if you want the price action. When I try implementing WRB, it doesn't show lower levels, so I need to amend something. Not sure what you mean, whoever's posted that in the Telegram group. Lower levels. WRB, if you're in here. ADR on Euro CAD. That's my Euro CAD trade. To set ADR. I'll be running out of steam on the Euro. So WRB basically, the only inputs you've got on WRB are colour and how many you want to show. So I go 500 candles back. So that if you're saying you can't see the lower levels, i.e. older ones from lower down, that's because you haven't got as many candles selected. So that comes defaulted at 100, I think. So change that to 500 and you'll see more of them. Long wick. Nice good rejection to the upside. Okay, putting in equal lows. So again, another sign of strength, equal lows. So this is kind of what they call a wick test, or what people call a wick test. So we just retested that high, double bottomed. So a break of that high is also a break. A break of that high is also a break of this double bottom low, which is a good sign of bear strength. Obviously, it's got to break and hold. If it's rejecting like this, it's bullish. Cool. So, nice shooting star forming there. Quite a long way to go on the NAS. Down to the next potential supports. We have tapped into that level though, which was the high of that day. And we used that again at the open in Globex, and then we pushed up. We came and rejected it in London, Frankfurt, and then went. So this is a fairly strong level of support resistance we've tapped into. So we could well be bouncing here and obviously playing off of this double bottom still, but need to pick a side. I like the bears at the moment just because of the market, the strength of the day. This will be my last trade of the day though, if this one doesn't pan out. I'm not putting any more. I've had a good day. So, actually banked on the funded account, real cash in the bank, able to withdraw, real life, 684. Do that every day. That's 20 grand a month. Anybody not live on that? Some people that's an annual salary. Afternoon, Neo. Yes, you are late. Market's been open for over an hour. You've missed all the fun, basically. Putin decided he didn't want to sell oil to anybody that wasn't willing to pay him rubles. So the market said, no, don't like that. Just before the open. It's a pretty tricky session, but we've done all right. Really lucky, actually. So so today's trades on DAX, obviously, after we came down and broke, I had a short bias on the day. Yeah, so moving averages crossed over. We're short. We're looking for shorts. So obviously, I had positions on short, looking for a continuation of the trend, just grinding down. Obviously, if I'd have been trying to long this, what would have happened is I'd have been continuously stopped out. So I wouldn't have had many positions on when this thing happened. But just goes to show you that there is a fair amount of luck involved in all trading when you're trading small time frames, because the news is so impactful, regardless of whether it is news that you're expecting, which is scheduled, or news that comes out that is unscheduled. This is why I have wide TPs on, and I push my TPs away when we get news releases, because if something like this is going to happen, you want to use it and let it make you money and hold it. But if I hadn't have been short bias on the day because of the way that the day was going, I wouldn't have been able to benefit from that. So always trying to be in the market with a position. Even if it's ranging, I'm always trying to be in a position so that we can take advantage of when the market goes. And you have to sit there. Like here, for example, I sat there for what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 45 minutes. I sat there waiting for the market to move. Didn't go anywhere. But I had a position in, waiting. If you're not in it, you can't make money. When you're scalping, you've got to be in the market. If you're waiting for price action to kick in, normally by the time it's kicked in, you've missed half the move. It's all about trying to preempt where it's going to go, and staying in line with the trend is either a daily trend or the current market trend is the best way to do it, using sell stops. So get in when it starts to go, get in. But you've got to be in it to win it, sort of thing. Still pushing up towards 50 now, so we're getting up to there's a lot of bulls coming in. Getting up to point of no return here. Lots of buyers. So slammed through that. So that large volume you can hear coming in is the bulls basically slamming through all of these sellers that are stepping in here. Just been taken out of that trade. And just volume after volume after volume being dumped and dumped and dumped and dumped to slam through this area. So now we're going to get into an area of balance where we were happy to trade before. So we'll probably see an accumulation start. Either that, or there'll be a load of sellers sitting up here waiting to push this back down again. But big strong move. So this could be the point of reversal today. So we could be switching bias now long as it rejects. So chewed up my stop. Now it's going to go like that. But hey, it's 0.5%. It's been a big day. So personally for me, I'm still short bias on these markets. Basically after what's been said today, we're obviously going to get pullbacks on moves. But, you know, the market is bearish today. So we are pulling back. So anywhere really on here at a support resistance level, like exactly where we are now, is a really good shorting spot. I was trying to short the 50-20, which is a 38 retracement on the day. That didn't work. This is still a very good shorting area here. Yeah. We're still in the 50-61.8 retracement, so you could take a short here, stop above the 61.8, or maybe even above those highs, just to be a little bit safe. Failing that, if we're going to continue to pull up into there, probably going to be just a grind up, and we're going to sit with kind of a shooting star, sorry, a spinning top type candle for the day, somewhere up here. So obviously if you look at this from a daily perspective, sorry, this is Globex, isn't it? So here is the open. So we'll probably just range up somewhere into here, and we'll be sitting with a candle that looks like that. But we'll see. We could get another leg down from here quite easily. We've got plenty of room to the downside. We're nowhere near ADR on the US indices. None of them have got anywhere close yet to ADR. Loads of room still. Apart from obviously the DAX. The DAX has already hit it. So DAX can do the same thing. DAX is tricky because we've had such a big move on the DAX. DAX took off the most. That's your obvious support resistance. So this is the obvious resistance. We haven't touched it. So when we broke through that level, we didn't get back up there and touch it. So we had that accumulation drop off the news. So that is where the market started dumping. That is where the market is going to defend. So anywhere around these lows or in that zone with a stop above that high. If we invalidate that high, this is a V-shaped recovery off the news, and we see those all the time, don't we? Just overreaction. Oh, actually, it's not as bad as we thought. Back into where we were accumulating before. So that's one of those two things is going to play out. Euro pounds just hit 125 ADR. See if that's the euro or the pound. That's the euro dumping. Weak euro. Still. So yeah, so with the DAX, I'd be looking anywhere in that zone for sells, and we could potentially, if you get bearish price action coming straight off of this resistance, nice entry there. And we're obviously assuming that we want another leg, or we're going to go into rotation for the rest of the session. So even if we go into rotation for the rest of the session, you should be able to play down to the bottom of the range and muck about in there. But you know, we may not get there. Lots of bears stepping in, you can hear them. Yeah. US indices we're running into potential resistance for shorts. But if you want to push it and take more trades, if you need to take more trades, then obviously that's what I would look to do to this afternoon. I'm kind of done for the day. I'm banked tons today. I'm not going to trade anymore because obviously if the trades don't work out, you end up just giving up all your profits. Oil's coming down very hard. We did not get anywhere near that gap. We just got a reversal alert and it's really coming down. There's no news come out. Biden to announce the largest oil reserves release in US history. Yeah, we know that. What was that? 3:47, 5 minutes ago. So oil's reacting to all this news we've just had come in. I had him turned off, so I didn't hear it. This news all come out has just all come in, and obviously that's tanked oil. But this is not new news. This was released earlier today. This news. So I think what they're actually meaning there is that he's going to sign something to confirm it. Releasing 1 million barrels per day from the reserves. God, can you imagine how many they must have? How many barrels they must have in reserve? Strike a light. If Russia wants a target, that's it. Hopefully it's not all in the same place. That would be bad. Shush. So yeah, oil. I still think north. I don't think anybody's really equated the cost of buying this oil from the US yet. So the cost of delivery of this oil is going to be way more expensive than using the pipelines. And I can't see that dropping the oil price. I still think oil is going up. Getting really good rejection off of the resistance at the moment. Still got a few seconds left on the candle, but see what the next candle plays out like. Sell under the low, maybe just under there. If we push up and reject again and start a little accumulation up there, that's probably a good selling spot. But need to see some bearish price action coming in. Right, I'm going to leave it there today, guys. I'm not going to trade anymore this afternoon. So I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50, same time, for the Frankfurt session. Weekly range just hit on the US dollar Swiss. Thursday anyway. So it's the last day of the month today. We've got no more news forecast. We had PMIs this afternoon. Tomorrow we've got CPI for the euro in the morning, and then obviously non-farm payroll. So tomorrow we are coming on at 1:20, not 2:20. So we'll be here for non-farm payroll. May try a little bit of very low risk news trading. Might try and establish some positions actually on some US dollar pairs in the morning. See if we can benefit from the non-farm spikes. So there's no news overnight to worry about today. So it's all building up basically for non-farm. So tomorrow morning typically is an accumulation. We may well see very slow opens on the indices. They don't like to do an awful lot in the mornings on non-farm. It all happens after non-farm. So may not be a massive amount of opportunities tomorrow morning. But beyond for that, at 1:30. So be on at 7:50. We'll have a look at the Frankfurt session, see if there's anything to trade at Frankfurt. Other than that, I think tomorrow afternoon is where the opportunities are going to be. It is end of month and end of quarter today. So quite often, there you go. So that's a prime reason of why you use sell stops and buy stops, and sell stop last and buy stop last. Yeah. You don't get in just because you get a bearish candle. Get in underneath that candle. Let the market confirm that, yes, it did actually mean to go bearish there. That's just a pullback on a bull move. So that's why you use pendings when you're scalping. What we tend to find end of month, end of quarter is sometimes we get end of day dumps or end of day pushes. So with the especially with the US indices, as we're coming to end of day, in the last sort of hour or two of the day, we can quite often get a very large movement. So just be wary of that in the last couple of hours. If you're trading, I mean, I don't trade that time anyway, but if you are trading the last couple of hours of the New York session before the close, it is the end of the month and end of the quarter. So if there are positions that haven't been reached yet for reporting purposes, they will potentially do them later. We can usually find they've got themselves to where they want to be by now, because it's the last day of the month. If you're trying to do it all on the last day of the month, it's a bit late. But just be aware of it. Later, you can make a lot of money out of end of day pushes and end of day dumps if you get on the right side of them, and it tends to be in the opposite direction to wherever you've been going. So if you've been pushing towards the last hour, if it's going to do it, you'd get an end of day dump. If it's been trending down towards the last hour or so, you get an end of day push rally, and it's basically a profit take move. But when you're end of month and end of quarter, there's quite often a lot more of that happening. So you just get more volatility and more movement. So just be aware of that towards the end of the day. It may not happen, but just at the moment, I'm more inclined to think it probably won't, because I don't think there's been as much speculative trading as usual. Wow. Just watching, just before I go, happy pre-Ramadan. Is it Ramadan, is it? I didn't even know it was. That's tomorrow then, I guess, is it? US dollar, absolutely tanking. Just watched on my other platform. So US dollar's coming down very, very hard. That's why we're seeing this bullish price action on the indices, because we've got a weak US dollar. That tends to do the inverse to the indices. So pound US dollar, off to the moon. Euro US dollar, very glad I got out of that one. Off to the moon. See what I mean? It's just, at the moment, you could be sitting there in tons and tons and tons of profit, and all of a sudden, within half an hour, your whole lot's gone. You need to be in and out of this market at the moment so quick, because it's just turning on a dime. On Sunday, is it Ramadan? Right. I don't do anything to do with religion, so it all passes me by. All of that stuff. Big moves on everything against the US dollar. Euro CAD I've been stopped out on. So that was the Euro CAD trade on M15. Stopped out. Just about to get a reversal alert long on that. So everything's starting to wind off of ADR. So nice little trade. So just be wary. We are starting pullbacks on everything by the looks of things. I got this feeling we're going to just pull back into a holding pattern for the day, and then we're going to do the same thing tomorrow morning ahead of non-farm. Nobody wants to get into any big positions ahead of non-farm payroll, apart from the banks, who will be positioning themselves absolutely spot on to take you out at a moment's notice. US dollar yen's coming down very hard as well. All the other yens are stable, so it's all US dollar at the moment. All the money's flooding out the US. Off the back of, I guess, that announcement from Biden. So well done, Biden. You've just managed to crash your entire currency. There's no other news. So that was what's tanked the US dollar. Okay, so I'll leave it there today. Good luck if you're going to carry on this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. We'll have a look at the Frankfurt market, see if we can scalp a bit out of that. So have a good one, and hopefully see you tomorrow morning.